Hello and welcome back to my channel. Alright, so it's that time of year, spring cleaning, want to get the house nice and clean for the summertime, and unfortunately my house is a mess. I have a bunch of nerds in the entryway. How did I miss that? I'm not sure. But, well, luckily I have a couple robotic vacuums, so let's see if these little guys can handle this challenge and see if they're able to pick up all these nerds. In this video, we're going to stress test two different models. We got the X1 Turbo and the X1 OMNI. Even though they're very similar, there's a couple unique differences with the self-emptying system, so we'll see how well they work.
Start charging.
Okay, so let's talk a little about these robot vacuums. They came out, I think last year, towards the end of last year of 2021, but these are the latest robot vacuums from Ecovacs. Now, the X1 Turbo and the X1 OMNI are almost identical in chassis design, minus the mopping system. Now, if you want to see the main differences, you can check out my other video, which I did more of a head-to-head comparison. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why in the world am I doing this challenge? It's not realistic, and I 100% agree with you. Now, besides being kind of comical watching these robot vacuums push through all this debris, I really think sometimes robot vacuums really need to be designed to handle certain scenarios. For example, if you're a pet owner, or maybe a pet shop owner that have bunch of birds, yes, they tend to leave a lot of seeds on the ground, so these robot vacuums may have to be able to handle that challenge. Also, I have heard from customers using these robot vacuums in different environments. For example, workshops, retail, and even like restaurants. So again, they may have to handle more debris than usual. Alright, so the difference between like these models, like the Ecovacs versus like the iRobot, which I've tested in the past, is these guys don't have a dirt detection sensor. So how do they automatically go back to your docking station? Well, I have the timer set to 10 minutes, so after 10 minutes, they automatically empty out the dustbin. Now, in this situation, I really think the timer should be less, maybe 1 minute or 5 minute intervals, but for now, I'm just going to do it by hand. Okay, so let's talk a little about these robot vacuums. They came out, I think last year, towards the end of last year of 2021, but these are the latest robot vacuums from Ecovacs. Now, the X1 Turbo and the X1 OMNI are almost identical in chassis design, minus the mopping system. Now, if you want to see the main differences, you can check out my other video, which I did more of a head-to-head comparison. Okay, so you could see from the docking station, it's larger on the X1 OMNI versus the X1 Turbo. That's just because the OMNI does have the self-washing capabilities. Also, it can self-empty, and the fact it can dry the mopping pads. Okay, so we just started this challenge, and besides having the scattered debris throughout my kitchen, you may notice there's some debris scattered near the base already. Now, it's not as bad on the X1 Turbo, but for the X1 Omni, notice that black lip there? Yes, that's where the robot kind of lifts up, and that's where all the debris kind of accumulates off of that edge there. Now, I think they can solve that issue by allowing the robot vacuum to continue vacuuming up while it goes back to the docking station right before it gets to the actual docking base. Then it can shut off the motor. What happens is once the robot's done cleaning, it will actually shut off the vacuum motor on its way back. So any excessive debris just kind of falls out and onto your floors. Okay, so one of my viewers asked is how much space do I have to leave in between the side of the docking station? I know that the manual recommends like at least a foot or so from either side, but as you can see, I have both docking stations right up against each other, up against various objects, and off to the left there is a glass panel, which sometimes confuses laser systems, but you can see both robot vacuums can dock without any issues. Okay, so here's an example where I guess either the dirt accumulation on the X1 Turbo is causing docking issues, or it just wasn't lined up the first time it went back. So don't worry, the X1 is pretty smart. It was able to figure out how to realign itself. I think for the X1 Omni, just because it has that lip or that piece of plastic, it really helps allow it to get straight on to the docking station, whereas the X1 Turbo struggled just this one instant. So one feature I like on the Ecovacs is the pause and resume. So for example, you tell it to go back to the docking station, or you pause the robot, it will resume exactly where it left off. Now, one tip or trick is if you have multiple robots, they tend to like to battle out, they have little personalities. So have one robot clean one room and the other clean the other, so they can keep their distance and do what they need to do.
Return to the station.
Alright, let's go and fast forward, and we'll just kind of show you the results as these robot vacuums are running. For the most part, they do a pretty good job, and like I said before, this is a stress test, not really representing like an ideal test or the real world. Not a lot of people are going to have this much dirt and debris in their home, and if you do, well, you might have bigger issues. Alright, so for the most part, the robot vacuums are able to handle this debris, and like I said, if they can improve the side brushes, they can make sure the vacuum motor stays on once they go back to the docking station. I think this would be almost a perfect challenge, just because the robot vacuums are really good at picking up debris and handling a lot of debris, especially the self-emptying system, which I'll show in a bit towards the end of the video how much debris the self-emptying was able to extract from the robot's dustbin. Well, we can't have a proper stress test without showcasing the most capable robot vacuum on the market. That's the Roomba series. Whether you get the i3 or the i7 or even like the S9, all these robot vacuums are very capable of handling a lot of dirt and debris. But what makes the Roomba so special, this particular model is the J7 Plus, is the fact that it has a dirt detection sensor. So for example, when it detects excessive dirt, it will actually go back over that area multiple times to clean up that area. That's very nice. Now, another thing is the Roomba does have a patented dirt detection sensor, so when the dustbin is full, it will actually go back, empty out the dustbin, and resume exactly where it left off. That is why the Roomba was able to handle that crazy rice challenge. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap up this video. I'll give you my final thoughts, and stick towards the end. I'll show you how much the self-emptying systems from the Ecovacs series was able to pull from the robot. Well, if you like this type of video, give me a big old thumbs up. Really does help out my video and my channel. Or just do it for the little robots. Really, they tried their best picking up this entire crazy challenge. Alright, so in a nutshell, if you're looking for a robot vacuum that can handle a lot of dirt and debris, I really think the Roomba has the edge over the competition. With that dirt detection sensor, the dustbin sensor, it really allows the robot to go back, empty out, and resume exactly where it left off. But the Ecovacs X series are no slouch. These robot vacuums literally have everything but the kitchen sink. They have the self-emptying capabilities, they have a front-facing camera, 3D mapping, they have a lot of navigation, and also Ecovacs spent some time improving the mapping operation, so I'm glad that I didn't have any issues with the mapping process. The X1 Plus is a really good value, offers self-emptying, and it has that vibrating mopping system as well. Now, you don't get the self-washing feature, and you will definitely pay a premium if you want the self-washing feature. You could go with the X1 Turbo or the X1 Omni if you want every feature but the kitchen sink. Now, the X1 Omni is a really nice robot vacuum. Just keep in mind, it is kind of expensive, but it does offer every feature but the kitchen sink, like I said. Now, both robot vacuums did a pretty good job. As you can see, the self-emptying systems are also equally as well. So, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you guys next time. And I'll do some more head-to-head challenges and some more crazy challenges as well. Adios.